Alright, and welcome back to the experiment for the perfect human. Now, as I said, I want to try something out. Um, so, um, I've got a little story thing that I've put together that I would like to try out. So I apologize for uh, the way it's going to go. So what I want to try is at the start of every episode, I want to go and have a little blurb from um, a source inside the game world. Since we don't really have a lot of books like they have in Skyrim where I can just like read stuff out, I have gone and written up a bunch of random stuff like the nerd I am. And now I feel a lot more nervous about doing this. Secure the ruined gem mine. Excellent. Alright, so let's go. Actually, no. Well, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll definitely do that tomorrow. That's an easy 100 crowns. Alright, let's go. Right, so there are some donkeys we can get as a necromancer. Um, Plenty of fame. Nope, I thought I saw famed gear. Oh well. That could be an interesting pickup. Anyhow, back on the road. Actually, no, I'm gonna read this. Uh, so this is over. This is readings from the Gunthrick Massacre, a study of necromancer madness. Because I got bored at work and decided to put this all together. This is according to what I have written down, written by the Mage Heinrich, detailing the fall of Abroyal Hearthstad. And I'm probably going to do like a little blurb each episode um, until I figure out what else I'm going to do. Let's see, where did it go? Ah, there it is. Uh, Not all necromancers start off as insane monsters trying to destroy civilization, though that is, in essence, how we all see them in the end. Uh, for whatever reason, despite their motivations, necromancers seem to have fallen into this trap of becoming these monstrous figures that you warn your children about. I'm not entirely sure why this occurs, though I do have some, well, I've got some suspicions, plenty of evidence, um, and a lifetime's worth of study trying to figure out why such things occur. While it has been quite some time since the Gunthrick massacre, it, and point of fact, you might not even see Gunthrick on a map these days, that the impact it has had in life has been nothing short of disastrous. Starting off back um, 50 years ago in the lost settlement of Gunthrick, it is a very concerning situation that the settlement found itself in, as no one was quite sure what exactly was going on. The destruction of the town and its people is undeniable, as is the lasting legacy that the town has these days. Now, this isn't to say that what happened was unforeseeable. In point of fact, I would argue that what happened was perfectly foreseeable. Most medical textbooks these days happen to be uh, derived from the work of various necromancers, as their study into unlife and how to put back together a body after it has fallen is nothing short of its own disturbing miracle. While many might argue that such tragedies, such as the Guthrie Massacre, should not be researched in depth, as someone who lived in the town of Gunthrick before its destruction, I would argue that understanding why Aberoyal fell is far more important than, well, much else we have. To sit there and claim that necromancers fell because necromancers are, by nature, insane is not incorrect, but dubious at best. There are many more factors at play than simply he was a necromancer. As much as I would rather believe otherwise, this seems to be a typical failing in the study of traditional mages. And so we shall begin our study with covering the book he had left behind upon his death. Alright, and that is where I will cut that reading. Obviously, I wrote this all out because I'm a massive nerd with nothing better to do with my time. So hopefully that ends up working out. I'm not sure. Well, I obviously have more written down. But I'm not sure where I'm gonna exactly take it, I should say. Like, I have no plan beyond, um, well, what I've written so far. I've gotten, like, 4 or 5 blurbs. I'm debating, like, writing up some more blurbs from different, possible books in this universe. Perhaps, a study on the nature of magic in the Battle Brothers world as we see it. As we see it in both base game and as we see it in Legends. If anyone has any ideas, please toss them in the comments, because I am more than happy to waste my time writing. Let's see. I can't block him. That guy's getting away. That guy's gonna die. Alright, Experiment 002. We got a hat! Just makes all the difference. Experiment 001 has a hat now. Hey, a 3. Let's see, what would be a good perk to take in level 3? Sort of caravans. I don't know what Death Touch does. Tinted Aura. Let's continue to mess with this. Oh wait, I also have the level up of 002. Jeez, his defenses are awful. I'm surprised he isn't dead yet. Still, it's not negative anymore. Give him all the health, and we'll give him Colossus, just so, you know, my first tank zombie is nigh unbeatable. So why am I, like, writing these out? That's because I think there is a lot of cool lore, like we have the information that Necrosavants hunt pirates on the open waters, or they are pirates or something like that, and it's fucking great. But at the same time, there's a lot of information we don't have, like, you know, why orcs are the only group that's seen without magic. Because I'm not sure, but part of that is because I'm not sure where to count the Hexen, but another part of that is just We know that goblins have magic. We know that humans can have magic, even in the base game with necromancers. There are hexs, whatever they classify as, and I'm tempted to say they classify as beasts. But we also have alps, which definitely classify as beasts, and they have some form of magic. Um, like magic might be one of the more common things in Battle Brothers, just by even in base game, you not being able to use magic. And I think part of that comes down simply to the fact that it's just a present force in the world. And then in, Legends, you have the Wizard, you got the Vala, you have the Warlock, clearly. And you've got Illusionists, which have some form of magic, and I'm not sure to what degree they have it. Um, that's one of those things where you go and you take a look at it, and it's like, oh, well, what gives these particular enemies access to magic? What gives these particular factions access to this stuff? And you see that orcs don't really have anything. And I would argue personally that the orc berserkers are uh, magic in some nature because we don't really see rage on other orcs. And that could easily be a very fun thing to delve into it. And I think that's what I'm going to delve into headcanon wise as I explore this. Uh, but we never get a direct answer. So I'm not entirely sure, like, what the proper call is. Is it that, orcs just happen to not have magic, or is it that, uh, magic is a little more complicated in this world? Is there, uh, things that we just don't understand because we're playing a bunch of humans? Obviously, the ancient undead have magic, and they were human at one point, but I don't know if that's part of them being ancient undead and just being in the purview of they've got all this stuff covered, or if it's under the purview of they just have these powers because they're ancient undead, and or if they've had him in life. Um, that's just one of those things. Like, we don't really have any clear answers. And that's not to say we're not gonna ever get any clear answers. If they team at Overhype continues to expand out the world as they sort of have over time, I think we're gonna get plenty of answers. But I have to acknowledge that as of right now, our answers are rather limited. Nope, not fighting snakes. So the information we're working with, it's there, but there's a lot. I think there's a lot more to it that we're not seeing. Does that make sense? Um, so really what it comes down to is we're looking more at, well, we know magic exists in some form in the world. Whether people have access to it or not seems to more or less be dependent on who they are. And so you end up with, I don't know, right now, buy this. Go buy another militia glove. You end up in these situations where the question isn't, oh, does this guy have magic? It's how is that applied in the world of the game? Um, how is it that, my... how is it that, in terms of power, we end up with this major disparity? How is it that, like, with all of what we have, we end up with this sort of system where we're not entirely sure what exactly it is we're dealing with. Like, the limits, obviously, like, part of the game is you are a bunch of people, and, like, especially the base game, you're trying to uh, deal with all these monsters, but at the same time, like even not in the base game, I just end up with all these questions about how the various um, powers work and what makes, like, why do necromancers exist. And obviously that's me. It's my desire to sort of explore um, the world we're presented with, and that's not, gonna be what's typical. You're probably gonna have a lot more along the lines of, uh, or why these things come into being as opposed to direct answers. And I think that's a very fun way to look at it. But I do like looking for answers, especially since, this entire campaign is going to be themed around, science and finding the perfect human to aid in the quest of, well, at this current stage, um, wiping out these, monsters and these brigands, even though that's ultimately, obviously, not going to be the end goal. We're just going to bite like you. Um, and I think that sort of storytelling is something I might be able to accomplish, at least in the sense that I'm willing to try it out and see how successful I am, as I do like writing, personally. I like it a lot, so I'm willing to sit there and have... I that that sound whenever I suck someone's life out of them with Nicolau is just terrifying. Like, I've never been more disturbed. Anyhow, um, and so part of it is this is obviously just me trying to explore what this world is necessarily capable of, um, and what we're sort of dealing with in the world we've been presented in Battle Brothers. Obviously, I don't have any real answers. I'm just making stuff up as I go along, as one does. Um, and obviously, like, a lot of what I'm talking about is probably not canon to the universe, even in Legends, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in these games that is I find very interesting that either never gets an explanation or I'm just making stuff up because, I think this would be a fun explanation for it, like Orc Berserkers being uh, the mages of the orcs, because that's how they have learned to channel their magic. And I did have a discussion with, I brought it up in the Buggo Reborn channel, and there seemed to be this idea that, there are no orc mages because they're just inferior and they get all the technology from goblins. Like, we never see any goblins, like, in any sort of that heavy gear that the orcs are in. And at least I remember at some point in the game, you could kite goblins into orcs and they would fight each other when not in the crisis. So I don't think that, oh, they do this because they're dumb goblins. I think they do this because that's how they develop their powers. And you see, like, yes, you sometimes see orcs holding goblin weapons. But you never see any goblins holding orc weapons. And I don't think that's because, um, goblins are there, like, giving orcs access to this technology. I think it's because, as at least at some point in the game, they aren't allies until the green skin um, endgame event triggers, where now they're all allied together. Instead, you've got a bunch of um, various factions of people um, sort of taking over and setting this stuff up. I'll say I love the fact that I can just raise like 3 guys, and all of a sudden this is a lot easier of a fight, especially when these guys aren't wearing shirts and they're just in potato sacks. Um, but no. And so basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to explore the information of the world we have. And while I'm not trying to, like, substitute anything over it, I do want to go and take a look at and say, well, why is this the information we have, and what changes about it as we get more information? Like, why are Necro Savants suddenly these weird pirate fighters when we don't explore the water? I mean, personally, I find that to be a hysterical change, but it is a change nonetheless, you know? I really should be protecting 001 more, so I'm going to send 002 to deal with that. I've got the unliving wall. Damn it. I wanted... Okay. Go over there. Start eating through them, boys. And so, like, one of the concerns I've got, obviously, is I don't know what the proper lore for this world is, and I don't really want to, and, like, as I love the game, I don't want to go and, like, bastardize a bunch of stuff, you know? Um, but I do like writing, and I do like, attempting to explore this from, these sort of, like, alright, perspectives, like, what is the driving force behind magic as we know it in the game world? What lets these creatures do all of these remarkable things? And I think I have some answers. Like, obviously, I don't know if they're right, but I have some answers regardless. Um, Whether or not they're right. Like, I do believe there is a driving, understandable sort of pseudoscience explanation I can give these things. And as I said, I find that to be sort of particular interest when discussing why things work in this game world. Like, why is magic the way that it is? Why? Um, and I think a lot of it is a lot more presented in Legends, with the three ways they have humans sort of power their magic. The Vala with Resolve, the Warlock with basically his health, and the Mage in the Adventuring Party powering it with their initiative. And I think that does have a very, very pseudoscience explanation for why it's working and why things are doing what they're doing. Uh, and I personally enjoyed the explanation it presents, but obviously, like, it's not necessarily going to be, oh, this is exactly why these things work the way they do in the world. It's more... It, I swear I'm pressing the mouse button. You can see I'm moving the mouse. Okay, I'm just gonna end these rounds manually, I guess. That was weird. Hey, I got some more corpses. Just gonna burn through my goddamn medicine pile. No, and I do think there are these fun, nifty little side explanations for why things are the way they are. 14 units of medicine a day. I need, like, a better way to gather medicine. I think I've already run into the first problem in this run is the need for medicine. I think I might just have to start selling these bodies, you know? So yeah, more to the sort of the direction I was going is I'm not entirely sure why the universe is run the way it is. Obviously, we have some answers. Like, we know there's a bunch of various um, goblin outposts in the world. Oh wait, I forgot to rename him. 003. And you know, so I think what I'm going to be doing in part for this series is I'm going to be writing this stuff up. I'm going to be thinking of stuff to write up, and I am going to be working it into sort of a narrative pseudoscience explanation for how I want this, you know, pseudoscience Frankenstein-inspired story to go. I think I will be selling some of the bodies, which is just a great sentence to say. Whoa, 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 ah! The fallen star. There's three snakes. God, I don't like this. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? Yep, I'm regretting this already. Alright, that's one snake down. Oh man, this snakes always have me nervous. Oh, he's coming back as a skeleton, I guess. Woo, that's not good. That's why he's got a knife. Ooh. Snakes always have me nervous. Okay, I will take this fight. And he comes back as a skeleton. No eyes, not affected by night, no brain. XP reduced to 33%, no lungs, fatigue at normal, 10% normal rate. And he's missing an eye. Well, excellent. He wasn't going to be a, he wasn't going to be a range pro anyway. But man, that was terrifying. Snakes are awful. I don't like them. Alright, we're gonna... Well, thank you very much for tuning in with us today. We will catch you next time. Alright, we'll catch you next time. And, you know, maybe you'll have a better idea of where I'm going with this story stuff. So, yeah. As Shinobi said last night, you know, like and subscribe if you're interested in the content. And, you know, hit the dislike button if you're not, because I don't care. Have fun.